That's what I asked.
Wasn't much going on this one.
He has not told me what to do.
Do what?
I said, I just asked.
1, 2, 3. We don't have a meeting quorum yet.
Yeah, Brent's here.
Oh, okay, he's hiding.
But TJ didn't tell me what to do. Oh, maybe that's him.
See, look,
I hear the door opening.
I bet that's him.
That's Laramie. Laramie Truax.
that Laramie guy with the sunglasses just came in the door.
Okay, at 6 o'clock.
The other guy, they said right next to that's
Well, I'm glad you said that.
I've got two people right
It
there.
is 6.
Because I'll remember to turn my phone on.
He's gonna need them.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. I'd like to start tonight's meeting. Council members, don't forget that your microphones are all consistent. They're on for the whole meeting tonight. And I would like to ask Doug Page to offer our invitation.
Heavenly Father, God, Lord, we come to you. God, we give you all the praise and glory for the blessings that we receive that we don't deserve. God, we thank you for the rain. God, we ask that you be with the council tonight, Lord. Your will be done through their actions. God, we just ask that everybody be safe going home. Lift us up in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you. Join me for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I forgot to also ask you to silence your phones if you have not done so.
Already did.
You did, yeah.
Hang on, I got a call.
Thanks to Christy, she reminded me.
Let's see if TJ responded by any chance. No, not yet. Okay, so next item on our agenda is items of community interest. We will be having a downtown revitalization project meeting regarding the Smythe Street project and the grant project tomorrow, Wednesday here at 5 o'clock in the conference room. So that's open to the public if anybody wants to attend. So Bert, take over the meeting.
Bert is my name.
Yeah, Bert, take over the meeting.
Plans for the downtown revitalization project are now mostly ready. I would say mostly because there's some intricate details that they have to work out and then have those drawn up in the plan. They're about 95% complete. I have a copy of the plans in the conference room. I've called a public meeting for 5 p.m. as the mayor just said, on the 11th. Made sure all the businesses on Smythe Street were notified. I personally delivered an announcement to each business that were open last Thursday. We also posted the meeting on our website and the city's Facebook page. Feel free to look at the plans after tonight's meeting. I'd be happy to answer any questions that I can, but if you can come next Wednesday, the engineer will be here and can answer all questions. Also, our grant writer will also be here, I think. She said she'd try to make it, so we've got people that can answer all the questions. As I told you at the last meeting, TCEQ has requested that we install another raw water pump at the pump station at the lake. They said that we have 6 months to take care of the problem. In the meantime, our engineers are asking for a variance to this requirement so that we can have extra time to take care of it. Jerry Sutton also went to the old raw water pump station on the old side of the lake and found it to be in fairly good working order, which may also buy us some time. The old pump will require some repairs, but not a lot. Basically, there's one of the main pipes leaking, and we'll just have to weld it up and it'll be ready to go. Hopefully these two things will give us time to get the new pump requested, engineered, and bid for a replacement. I wrote this before today, so this is kind of sounds funny but you'll understand when I finish. The Nelson Street project is box, and from the drop box to the bridge culverts have come loose and must be repaired before we can do any work at the intersection. Also, the drop box does not have the correct elevation, so water will not enter the drop box under normal rainfall circumstances. Problem with the drop box continue to be a sore point, and the project will not be finished until the contractor gets everything fixed at the box and the concrete is poured at the intersection. The other items that need to be addressed, but the drop box is our main concern. I've not asked Hayter Engineering, but I'm pretty sure that the contractor is in the time limit penalty phase of the project. As I told you before, the penalty is $700 per day if the project is not completed on time. Culverts today going into the drop box, and plans are underway to address the elevation of the drop box. The contractor finally asked for an extension to the contract, which we owed him because of the rain days, and I gave them until October the 31st to finish. After that, we will penalize them $700 a day until the project is completed. Any questions?
Can they get it
Why
done?
did we, pardon
Go
me.
ahead.
Why did we give him that long of an extension if we didn't
Well,
have that many rainy days?
He had about 75 rain days to add on to it. He
So
just
you
had,
spent
all the
he
days
he
that
had,
didn't work.
he just never had, well, some of the days that didn't work are pretty easy to explain. When they poured the streets, they couldn't get on the streets to do anything, any vehicle traffic or anything like that. When we set the boxes in the creek, we had to wait till they settled and everything was right before they poured the concrete. There's a lot of days, but I looked at and got a total explanation today. They finally asked, I told them, I said, I'm going to fix to start fining you for the $700 a day if you don't, give us the time. He finally requested the time. And I argued back and forth with him about, he asked for more time than he really needed. And so we settled on October the 31st. And I said, after that day, I'm going to fine you. So, or, he'll have to pay a penalty of $700 a day. I want them to finish it and finish it right. I want to make sure they've got enough time to do it. But it was time to draw the line in the sand and say, after this, you're going to have to pay the penalty. So we could rush them and hurry them and stuff, and it may not get it done right. And that's why we're staying on top of it and making sure it's getting done right. So anyway, that's where we're at.
Brent?
Can they get it done in this amount of time?
Do what?
Can they actually get it done in that?
I don't know. We'll know. They should. There's not that much to do. They're gonna have to cut out a portion of Mill Street because of the elevation of the drop box, because it runs down and Mill Street would be, if they finished in the level they were, it would be below the drop box. So they need to bring that up. So they're gonna have to cut out about 16 foot of the street and re-pour that and come back down so it'll be correct and proper.
Was the lot box elevations and things of that, drop box elevation, everything that's gone, was that their fault that it didn't get fixed right to start out with?
Yeah, it's like the deal today where they fixed the inlets, the culvert inlets, that concrete is at their cost because they didn't do it properly the first time. So
I noticed they were working today for a change.
they worked Friday and Saturday to dig it out so that they could do that work today.
Yeah, I watch them every day. I watch to see.
If those culverts come out now, we're gonna name them Houdini because as much concrete as they put in to stop it up, to hold them in place, a bunch of concrete. So, and that'll help stabilize that drop box.
So basically, what you did is that we've been having a gray area of when they were going to be finished before we started penalizing them. So now you've got a specific date of when they're saying if you're not done, it's $700 a day.
Yeah.
Well, we had a day.
I know, but
There was never a gray area. We always knew. We knew he had rain days, but he never asked for them.
I know, but we'd talked already that we were going to kind of give them an extension because of the rain days. So I didn't know. We never did establish exactly when the date was going to be after what we were going to give them, did we?
Yeah, we did. We pretty much did. And I let them slide on a couple of days because I want it finished. And I just figured October 31st would be a good line in the sand, and that's it. So anyway, they should be done before then.
So who's overseeing it to make sure that it is done right? You said,
Stoney and I, mostly Stoney is down there all the time, and the engineer comes in periodically.
the engineer
and
does?
stuff.
Okay.
Any other questions? Well, if not, let's move on to the consent agenda items. last meeting minutes is in your packet. If you've reviewed them, I would entertain a motion to accept them as presented.
Make the motion.
Second.
Bates and Ashley. Shaw,
Aye.
Gunner,
Yes.
Ashley,
Aye.
and Bates.
Aye.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is an old business item, which is the second reading of ordinance 2024-05, an ordinance adopting an annual budget for the City of Bowie for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2024 and ending September 30th, 2025, adopting a reference document as said for the various activities and functions of the city, establishing an effective date and repealing all ordinances and regulations in conflict herewith. So this is our final reading for the budget. I would entertain a motion to accept as presented.
So moved.
Gunner, do I have a second?
Second?
Shaw? Bates?
Aye.
Ashley?
Aye.
Gunner?
Aye.
Shaw?
Yes.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the joint election agreement and lease agreement of election equipment with Montague County. We went over this last month about us paying share in the cost of the election. Any
Well,
questions on
How
the
much was it?
equipment?
How much was it? The cost?
What's our share?
This year it's gonna be, I
Janet?
think, like $1,200, I think.
Okay.
Is that our cost or is that the shared cost?
That's our call.
That's our
That's to
cost.
us?
Yeah.
And it's usually a lot more than that, but everybody in the county's having elections this time, so it's cheaper on us when everybody does.
I don't think, yeah, because I don't think the people realize how much it costs us to have the elections, you know, so.
Typically, isn't it, Sandy, if I'm not mistaken, it's like $8,000?
So 1,200, that's pretty reasonable.
It's a bigger election.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Gunner. Do I have a second?
Second.
Bates? Shaw?
Yes.
Ashley?
Aye.
Bates?
Aye.
Gunner?
Aye.
Next item on the agenda is ordinance 2024-06, an ordinance levying an annual ad valorem tax rate for the City of Bowie, Texas for the tax year of 2024. You were all introduced to this at the last meeting, plus we had our public hearing. No questions, no conflicts. And as usual, it has to be read specifically. So if anybody would like to make the motion. Terry? It's for a tax rate of 54.3, same as last year.
Oh, you wanna read it? Can you read that?
Yeah, that is some good letters.
Yeah.
Y'all can probably read that from here. I move that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of 0.5430, which is effectively an 11.4% increase in the tax rate.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Shaw? Ashley?
Aye.
Bates?
Aye.
Gunner?
Aye.
And Shaw?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Now we have a guest. Are you ready? So we are going to adopt the written findings. Well, we're just going to let you come up to the podium and tell us. That's a mouthful there. I'll read it before we vote on it.
Okay. When a lawyer brings a bottle of water, you gotta worry. No, I promise I won't be long-winded. Well, good evening, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I know who you are.
My name is Tony Crivelli. I'm a lawyer and a partner with Perdue Brandon out of Wichita Falls, Texas. Thank you for having me this evening on your agenda. Our law firm for 54 years, all we've done is exclusively collect government receivables. We started in Amarillo, Texas, 1970, and now have 2,200 clients across 10 states, actually. Like I said, I'm in the Wichita Falls office. In Wichita Falls, we have 4 lawyers and 10 legal assistants, and we have the privilege of already collecting delinquent property taxes through the appraisal district for the city of Bowie, and have for years and years and years. Tonight, we're going to discuss, take questions, of course, on court collections. So we have currently represented about 700 courts that would be justices of the peace or municipal courts throughout the states that we operate in. We represent in Monte County every municipal court and justice of the peace. In fact, in our Nortex region, we have the privilege of representing every court except Bowie, and hopefully that'll change here in a few minutes. So what this is there's no cost for our services. The way the law works is that when someone goes delinquent for 60 days, they come to us. If they owe a $100 bill or a $100 ticket, it becomes $130 under state law. We collect the $130, keep $30 to pay our bills, and give the city the whole $100 that they're owed. So what's great about this is the individuals who pay on time don't ever see us. The city doesn't have to appropriate money for our law firm to do this. So it's just really those individuals who have gotten signed the promise to appear and then failed to appear, and 60 days later, it comes to our firm. The city is currently using a collection agency out of Carrollton, Texas, I believe it is, called American Municipal Services. They were friendly competitors. You know, I'm not going to disparage them, but there is a difference in using a law firm. Well, first, every letter we send to someone who's not paid comes on our law firm letterhead. And even as a lawyer, if I get a letter from a lawyer, I'm like, what's this all about? You know? A lot of the individuals who aren't paying you also probably aren't paying their credit card bills or all the other things that they owe. So the collection agency letters are just stacking up. Again, when you get a letter on a law firm letterhead, I think we've seen really good opportunities for an increase in collections just by that switch alone. And using them, whoever you use, the same state statute applies, so it's not a difference in cost. It's just who can bring the most to the table. Also, I consider ourselves local, just being, as I was born and raised in Wichita Falls. I got out of law school, I was a county attorney for 5 years, and then I've been with Perdue. I'm in my 15th year. So Bert and I have visited about this. I think Sandy and I have actually talked about this in the past over the years. Judge Cordell was always very friendly every time I'd stop by, but but she had indicated that she was, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but content, happy with the services. And then over the last 3 or 4 weeks, we visited. I brought one of our account executives, Melissa Pace, who's a former court clerk in Haltom City, who's worked for us for about 8 or 9 years, and very experienced on the Encode software which your court uses. We had a nice meeting, sat down, and that's what brings us here today. So that's kind of the overview. I'll take any questions, of course.
What, I guess besides, I've got our letterhead, the people that aren't paid, didn't show up, what's the expectation that we can tack on more money and have them pay that?
Right. That's a great question. So the fee is already getting tacked on today, right? But what typically happens is that I always say that collections of receivables, whether it's property tax or court, is pretty simple. In my mind, you need 2 things. You need to track down the person, and you need to track down when they have some money in their pocket. And eventually, they're going to be tired of getting letters from us, getting phone calls. Our call center is based in Amarillo, Texas, for our court collections. And ultimately, if they're like, $350, I'm just going to pay this and be done with it. Oftentimes, courts will issue warrants. So in our letters, it says there may be a warrant for your arrest. That'll spur along collections as well. But the docket stays completely under the control of the judge. So, for example, I'm familiar with the towns I work in, but I don't live in all the towns I work in, right? And so there are people who have indigency status, and the judge decides, hey, I'm going to find this person indigent and dismiss it. Then it's dismissed. There's no questions asked on our side, and we explain that to the judge. Community service, things like that. So from the failure to pay or failure for the ability to pay is really kind of handled through an indigency hearing, and then the judge in that particular jurisdiction makes that decision.
What's your success rate been in other towns when you start these programs? Or?
So we have, from this particular, firm, we have probably, I would say, throughout Texas and Oklahoma, taken 25 clients, and we've not had one go back. So from a percentage standpoint, we try to hit, it depends on the year, how old the debt is, all those kind of things, but the industry standard is about 35% over time cleared. We internally set ours at 45%, And we have some accounts that are, you know, when we see them coming under our benchmark, we're focusing, you know, why are we coming under our benchmark here? But we have some that are in the 70s for clearance rate, so.
I guess I have the question of how much money, I mean, are we talking about in funds? I don't know the exact percentage of how much money is being lost by non-payment.
I don't know the dollar amount today, but it's everything that's in warrant status.
Well, the part that's good for me is it doesn't cost any, we get our money back and they get their $30 fee, if I'm understanding it, and that's, if they don't collect the deal, then
Right.
nobody.
You'll never get a bill for
we'll
some
never
property
get a-
tax or on this, that's correct.
I'm thinking about letting me do the utilities too. So,
Yeah.
but,
That would be wonderful. I think we lose more money in
okay,
utilities.
we can't talk about that, but,
Yeah, I think we lose more money in utilities than court funds.
but I think listen to your presentation, if that's exactly how it goes down, that's good.
Sure. And with the way I drafted it and promised the judge and Mr. Cunningham is it's just a 30-day contract. It's not a 5-year deal where, so we're really on the line every 30 days, it automatically renews. And if we're not performing in the way we've promised, you give us a notice and say, game's up, we're not renewing for another month. So we don't have to come in front of the council every month because it automatically renews. But I just think that's better, have your service on the line every day than to say 5 years and then we start really working 4.5 years into it, kind of a deal.
Right.
So we're not changing the process, just the processor.
Yeah, correct, that's right.
So let me read this to you, council. We're going to adopt the written findings as to the collection services contract and approve a contingent fee contract with Perdue Brandon Law Firm pursuant to the Article 103.0031 Tax Code of Criminal Procedure, said contract being for the collection of court fines and fees owed to the City of Bowie, and notice of which is provided with the agenda in accordance with Section 2254.1036 of the Government Code. So again, we're not changing the process, we're just changing the processor.
With the other processor that we have, we don't have any,
We don't have a contract
we
with
don't have
them
a
either?
contract with them, do we?
Yeah, she wouldn't have brought it to us if we were still in contract.
So the ones they've been trying to get automatically goes to them?
That's correct. So what'll happen is the other firm, well, in the Encode system, we're just able to notify the other firm, and then in that system, we'll just pull the file. We have about 120 courts that are on Encode right now, so we're very familiar with the court system, processing system.
So your vote tonight is to approve the change of this contract?
Hey, can I present a question to the judge?
Absolutely.
Is this something that you obviously are agreeable to, that, okay, I mean, because you see that more than each one of us
Yeah.
would, so your opinion means a lot to me, so if it's your recommendation that we do this, then I'm good with that.
I do recommend it. They, like you said, it's gonna be on legal letterhead, so that's a big difference. The other difference is they have a system that I can actually lock onto also.
So you could basically give us a report pretty easy. That's awesome.
If
And that's
you read your email, you already get one anyway from her.
We do.
I get so many emails.
And I'll just say that, and not to get off the agenda, and we're glad anytime to come give reports as well on this, or your property tax collections that we do through the CAT. So,
Well, Tony, when I took this job, I met Tony at Nortex meetings and stuff, and I visited with him, and I told him, I said, Darla is gonna be the one to make the decision, I'm not gonna interfere, because it's her job, and so she finally made the decision to go with Tony, so.
and I even said she was very friendly every time I stopped by. I did not know you were there, so, yeah, so, and you were always very friendly.
was a
But
good-
it's just,
that was a
there's
good
always a
move.
time for change, at some point, it becomes the right time for change, and I just think that's maybe now, so.
Okay, so I'd entertain a motion to accept the contract as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Gunner, Ashley, Shaw,
Aye.
Bates,
Aye.
Ashley,
Aye.
and Gunner.
Aye.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Tony.
you for this
We
opportunity.
appreciate
We'll
it.
talk about them collect city later on.
And if Christy was next to me, she'd be kicking me right now because she needs to be out of here. So let's go to the next item.
We got one more.
Next item is ordinance 2024-07. Ordinance providing for a fee to defray costs of collecting delinquent fees, fines, fees, and court costs and other debts pursuant to Article 103.0031 of the Texas Code of criminal procedure. So we have to enact a law, an ordinance to make this happen. That's what this is about. It's a follow-up from the previous. So I'd entertain a motion to adopt ordinance 2024-07.
And that fee's the 30%? Or
It's a-
just a fee?
That's a fee. It does not state the fee, the contract states the fee.
Okay.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Gunner. Do I have a second?
Second.
Ashley. Bates.
Aye.
Shaw.
Aye.
Gunner.
Aye.
Ashley.
Aye.
Do we have any public comments in the room, from the room? Anybody in the room?
Well, Bonnie did want me to remind people that they're having a concert Saturday night, cover band for,
Yes, it's not till the 14th, I think.
yeah. 14th.
Yes,
Yeah.
14th. Okay, good. If that's it, then at, I don't know what time it is. What time is it?
6:25.
6:25, we will adjourn our meeting tonight. Thank you. See you next, into September. He didn't call anybody to say he wouldn't come. He said unexpected event.
Unexpected.
I like to read stuff before I sign it.
Yes, we're going to, but we're going to get through all of our ordinances.